In the vast, wind-swept heart of America, where the plains roll like a grassy ocean, lived a warrior whose name became a legend. He was a ghost on the battlefield, a leader guided by visions, and a man who refused to be broken by the relentless tide of an expanding nation. He was never photographed. He never signed a treaty. And to the United States government, he was the most dangerous enemy on the Great Plains. This is the story of a warrior who fought for a world that was vanishing, a leader who embodied the spirit of defiance. This is the story of Crazy Horse. Born into the Oglala Lakota around 1840, the boy named Curly was different from the start. He was quiet and introspective, known for his light complexion and peculiar-looking hair. But in his solitude, he was powerful. As a young man, following a profound vision after witnessing the U.S. Army's brutal attack on a peaceful Lakota village, he received his new name, Tasunke Witko, or Crazy Horse. This vision would guide his life. He saw a warrior on horseback, floating untouched through a storm of bullets and arrows, with a single hawk flying over his head. His father, a medicine man, interpreted the vision. He would be a great warrior, invincible in battle, so long as he sought nothing for himself. Crazy Horse took this to heart. He dressed simply, claimed no personal wealth, and gave everything he had to the needy, the old, and the children of his tribe. This humility, combined with his unparalleled bravery, made his people love him. But to his enemies, he was terror itself. On the battlefield, he was a whirlwind of controlled chaos. He developed a unique style of fighting, using feints, decoys, and lightning-fast raids that left American soldiers bewildered and terrified. His legend began to grow with every skirmish, every victory against the encroaching bluecoats who sought to carve up the sacred Black Hills for gold. The defining moment of his early military career came in 1866. When the U.S. Army built a series of forts along the Bozeman Trail, right through the heart of Lakota hunting grounds, war was inevitable. The Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho, under the leadership of Red Cloud, decided to fight back. It was here that Crazy Horse orchestrated one of the most brilliant deceptions in American military history. He used a small party of warriors, including himself, to lure Captain William J. Fetterman and his command of 80 men out of Fort Phil Kearny. Fetterman, who boasted he could ride through the entire Sioux Nation with just a handful of soldiers, arrogantly took the bait. Crazy Horse led them into a perfect ambush, where over 1,000 warriors were waiting. In less than half an hour, Fetterman and all of his men were wiped out. The Army called it a massacre. The Lakota called it a victory. The Fetterman fight sent a shockwave through Washington, D.C., and established Crazy Horse as a military genius. For the next decade, Crazy Horse was the beating heart of the native resistance. As other leaders considered signing treaties and moving to reservations, he refused. He wanted nothing less than the preservation of his people's way of life, the freedom to roam and hunt as their ancestors had for generations. His defiance would lead him to the valley of the Little Bighorn River in the summer of 1876. It was the largest gathering of Plains Indians ever seen, a final glorious stand against the forces bent on their destruction. It was here that Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong Custer, a man as arrogant and ambitious as Fetterman, made his fatal mistake. Underestimating his enemy, Custer divided his 7th Cavalry and charged headlong into the massive village. The battle was a maelstrom of dust, smoke, and fury. Crazy Horse was not the overall commander. That was Sitting Bull's role as the spiritual leader, but when the fighting began, he was its soul. He charged directly into the heart of the cavalry's lines, breaking their formations and inspiring the warriors around him. He led a massive flanking maneuver that slammed into Custer's command, shattering it and sealing its fate. The Battle of the Little Bighorn was the single greatest victory for the Plains Indians in their long war with the United States, but it was a victory that would cost them everything. The American public, reeling from the news of Custer's last stand, demanded revenge. The U.S. Army launched a massive winter campaign, the Great Sioux War, with a single mission: hunt down and destroy the so-called hostiles. They pursued Crazy Horse and his followers relentlessly. The winter was brutal, food was scarce, and the people were starving and exhausted. One by one, other bands surrendered. For months Crazy Horse held out, a ghost in the frozen wilderness. But he could not fight hunger. He could not fight the despair in the eyes of the children. In May of 1877, for the good of his people, the invincible warrior finally did what he had sworn he never would. He led his band of nearly 900 followers into Fort Robinson, Nebraska, and surrendered. His time on the reservation was tense. He was a living legend, a symbol of defiance that made the military nervous. Rumors flew that he was planning an escape, that he was going to start the war anew. Jealousy among other chiefs and paranoia among the army officers created a toxic brew of suspicion. In September 1877, just 4 months after his surrender, the army decided to arrest him. When he realized he was being led to a guardhouse, a prison, he resisted. What happened next is shrouded in confusion, but in the struggle, a soldier lunged with a bayonet. The blade struck deep into the flesh of the warrior who had been untouchable in battle. Crazy Horse, the last warrior of the plains, died that night as his parents chanted the traditional death songs. He was not yet 40 years old. His parents secretly buried him in a place that remains unknown to this day, his final resting place a mystery, just as he would have wanted. He left behind no letters, no photographs, only a legacy etched in the memory of his people and the land he fought so desperately to protect. His life was a testament to a simple, powerful idea, that some things, like freedom and honor, are worth fighting and dying for. He remains an enduring symbol of resistance, a spirit of the untamed plains, a warrior forever wild and forever free.